Part 1. The House I Built. I always believed that if you give your heart fully to someone, they won't tear it apart. I was wrong. My name is Daniel. I'm 37. I had a life that many would envy, married to a woman I adored, 3 kids that made my chest swell with pride, and a house I built with my bare hands. Not just bricks and wood. I'm talking about a home. Warmth. Laughter. Movie nights. Backyard barbecues. Christmas mornings where the kids jumped on the bed before sunrise. All of it. Samantha. My wife of 12 years. Beautiful, strong, with a laugh that could ease any storm inside me. We met in college. I was studying architecture. She studied literature. It started with coffee in the library and turned into a life. Every step we took together. She gave me 3 incredible children. Liam, 10, Ava, 8, and little Noah, who just turned 4. And then there was my brother, Caleb. Caleb was 4 years younger. The rebel. Charming in a way that got under your skin. While I settled into a mortgage, a job, and diaper duty, he was off jumping from country to country, chasing women and writing novels he never finished. Still, he was blood. And I loved him. Trusted him. Too much. It was a Friday when everything broke. The kind of Friday that started perfect. I had just closed a major client contract at the firm, and I decided to surprise the family. I left work early. Picked up cupcakes from Ava's favorite bakery, a toy robot for Noah, and a leather-bound edition of Jane Eyre I knew Samantha would love. I even texted her, coming home early. Can't wait to see you. No reply, but that wasn't unusual. She often left her phone somewhere in the kitchen. When I pulled into the driveway, something was off. The curtains were closed. At 3 p.m. That never happened. The house was too quiet. No cartoons. No laughter. Just stillness. I stepped in quietly. Shoes in the hallway, Caleb's boots. That didn't immediately strike me. He visited often, stayed for dinners, sometimes even crashed in the guest room after too much wine. The kids adored him. Samantha said she enjoyed the company, especially when I worked late. I never questioned it. Why would I? I walked toward the living room. No one. Then I heard it. A creak upstairs. And then something else. A sound I hadn't heard in years. A gasp. A low moan. I dropped the bag of cupcakes. Frosting exploded across the floor. I climbed the stairs like a ghost. The door to our bedroom was slightly ajar. Enough to see. Enough to destroy. My wife. My brother. Tangled. Sweaty. Her head thrown back on our pillow. His hands gripping her hips. Her voice, soft, breathy, the same way she used to say my name when we first got married. My name caught in my throat. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't scream. Couldn't even move. Time stopped. Then she saw me. She froze. Screamed. Pulled the sheets over her body like it made a difference. Caleb jumped back, naked, stammering something. I didn't hear. My vision blurred. My ears rang. My body moved on instinct. I left. I ran out of the house, got into my car, and drove. I don't remember where. Gas station maybe. Some empty road outside town. I sat there for hours, my mind in flames. Everything I built, reduced to rubble in a matter of seconds. They didn't even try to hide it. Not in a hotel. Not somewhere anonymous. In my home. In our bed. While my children were at school. I kept thinking, was this the first time? How long? How could she? How could he? My phone buzzed. Over and over. Her name. Caleb's name. I turned it off. By nightfall, I drove to my friend Alex's place. Told him just enough to get a couch to crash on. I didn't go home. Couldn't. I wasn't ready. That night, sleep didn't come. Just the images. The sounds. Her voice. His face. The betrayal. Everything I ever loved just stabbed me in the back with the same knife. But the story doesn't end there. That was just the beginning. Part 2. The Shattered Mirror. I didn't go home for 3 days. Alex offered me food, space, silence. The kind of friend who knows when to talk and when not to. I didn't say much. I couldn't. Everything I felt had no words, only screams inside my chest. On the fourth day, I knew I had to go back. Not for them. For my kids. I arrived early in the morning before school started. The house looked the same, white siding, green trim, sunflowers in the pot Samantha planted last spring. But it felt haunted now. Like something had died inside it. Maybe I had. I rang the bell. She opened the door. Her face pale, lips trembling. Dressed in my old hoodie. Daniel. Where are the kids? I asked flatly. They're upstairs. Getting ready for school. I want to see them. She moved aside, eyes welling with tears. I stepped past her without looking at her face. Liam saw me first. He ran to me, hugged me tight around the waist. Dad, where were you? Mom said you were at work. Something came up, I said, forcing a smile. I missed you, buddy. Ava joined in. Noah peeked from the hallway and ran into my arms. In that moment, I didn't cry. I couldn't. I held it all inside for them. After breakfast, I drove them to school. None of them sensed anything was wrong. I laughed, answered their silly questions, kissed each of them goodbye. Then I sat in the car for 10 minutes, gripping the steering wheel, staring into space. I went back to the house. Samantha was in the kitchen. 2 mugs on the table. I looked at them. You expecting him? I asked. Her lips parted. No. I didn't know you'd come. I sat down. You owe me the truth. She sat too. Her eyes avoided mine. I never planned for this to happen, she began. Don't lie. I'm not. It started months ago. After you started working late so much. I felt like I was disappearing. Like I was just a mother. A maid. You didn't see me anymore. You think that justifies what you did with my brother. No, she whispered. I'm not justifying anything. I stared at her. So, what was it? Love, lust, boredom. It was loneliness, Daniel. I hated myself every time. But when Caleb came around, and he actually listened to me. I stood up, pacing now. My voice rising. I listened to you for 12 years. I held your hair when you were sick with Liam. I stayed awake all night when you were scared about Ava's heart murmur. I buried my dreams so I could support this family. And you threw it away for a warm body in our bed. Her eyes flooded. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. You don't, I said coldly. But I have to figure out what happens next. She looked at me like she expected mercy. She didn't get it. I called Caleb that evening. Told him to meet me at an old park we used to go to as kids. He showed up. Hands in his jacket pockets. Sunglasses like he thought it made this less real. You going to hit me? He said. I didn't answer. I didn't mean to hurt you, man. Then why did you? I asked. He looked down. Because I'm a screw up. Always have been. You had everything I wanted but could never build for myself. And Sam, she was just there. And I was weak. Do you love her? He didn't answer. That silence told me everything. You knew this would destroy me, I said. And you did it anyway. I regret it. You'll regret more if you come near my family again. I walked away. Didn't look back. But as I drove off, something clawed at my mind. Something didn't add up. A week passed. I moved into a small apartment. Near the firm. I took the kids every weekend. Samantha tried to talk things out, but I wasn't ready. Not when the wound still bled. Then one day, Liam said something strange. Uncle Caleb picked me up from school once when you were away. I frowned. When? Like 2 months ago. Mom said it was okay. Caleb. Picking up my son. Behind my back. I checked my phone history. Samantha had never mentioned that day. Never said she was sick. Never said she asked him to help. Why would she hide it? I dug deeper. Looked through shared calendars. Old emails. Cross-referenced dates when I was away on business trips. There were patterns. Days Caleb was in town. Days I worked late. Days when Samantha's schedule suddenly changed. And then, I found an email. It was hidden under an old email alias I barely remembered from college days. She used it to send me a list of groceries once. But she had sent Caleb dozens of emails there. Flirty. Intimate. Not just recent. Years old. They'd been in contact far longer than she admitted. And one message chilled me to the core. You think he suspects anything? He always trusts me. Almost makes me feel guilty. That was from 2 years ago. 2 years. This wasn't a mistake. It was an affair. A long one. Carefully kept. Hidden beneath birthday cakes and bedtime stories. I stared at the screen. My wife. My brother. My whole life, built on lies. And I knew then, this wasn't just betrayal. It was war. Part 3. The ashes we breathe. The truth hit me like a truck I didn't see coming. 2 years. While I was reading bedtime stories, making breakfast pancakes, fixing broken faucets, they were building a world behind my back. A secret life inside my own home. I sat there, in the dark apartment I now called home, surrounded by silence and betrayal. I thought about confronting them again. Screaming. Smashing things. But what would that change? They weren't sorry. Not really. They were sorry they got caught. I needed to do something different. I needed to outplay them. I met with a divorce attorney the next morning. A calm, methodical woman named Caroline who handled my rage better than I expected. Infidelity is a game changer, Daniel, she said after I laid it all out. Especially with documented evidence. Do I stand a chance of full custody? If we can prove your wife endangered the children or brought your brother into the home during the affair, yes. Especially if he was around them unsupervised. I gave her everything. Screenshots. Emails. School pickup logs. Patterns. I held nothing back. Then I began recording everything. Every time Samantha texted. Every call. Every time she tried to play victim or offered a false version of events. I didn't argue, I just let her talk. Meanwhile, I talked to the kids. Gently. Do you remember when Uncle Caleb picked you up from school? I asked Ava one day during our weekend at the park. She nodded. Yeah. Mommy said you were busy. He bought us ice cream. Was Mommy there too? No. She said she had a headache. Strike one. Later that night, I sat across from Liam during dinner. Do you like it when Uncle Caleb visits? He shrugged. I guess. But he sometimes yells at Mommy. Like whispers but angry. Strike two. And then came Noah, the one I least expected to crack the puzzle wide open. Daddy, he said while we built blocks, one time I woke up and Uncle Caleb was in your bed. I froze. In my bed. He nodded. I had a nightmare. I wanted Mommy. But he was there. They both were. Strike three. I sent it all to my lawyer. She filed for full custody that same week. When Samantha was served the papers, she showed up at my door in tears. You're trying to take them from me, she whispered, mascara running down her face. You already did, I said coldly. When you brought that man into our home. I didn't know how to stop. You didn't want to stop. She fell to her knees. Please. Don't do this to the kids. No, Sam. You did this to the kids. She sobbed, begging me to talk, to reconsider. I shut the door. The custody hearing was brutal. But I came armed with facts. Calm. Composed. Not a vengeful husband, but a betrayed father who loved his children more than anything in the world. She tried to cry her way out of it. Claimed emotional instability. Blamed my long work hours. But when the judge heard the recordings, saw the emails, heard about Caleb sleeping in our home while the kids were present, he ruled in my favor. I got full custody. She would get supervised visits. No overnights. No unsupervised time if Caleb was in the vicinity. But that didn't bring peace. What followed was emptiness. Nights where I sat alone after the kids went to bed, trying to stitch together a version of reality I could live with. I felt like a man who'd been shot and was walking around pretending he was still whole. The kids adjusted. Slowly. Liam became more protective of his siblings. Ava asked less and less about her mother. Noah stopped calling for her at night. I don't know if that made me sad or relieved. And Caleb. He vanished. Moved out of state. Blocked me on everything. Not that I cared. But one day, months later, I got a letter. Handwritten. Daniel. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect anything. But I wanted you to know that I hate myself every day. I ruined the only real family I had. Not because I didn't love you. But because I loved myself more. Sam and I are over. She couldn't forgive me for running. And I couldn't forgive myself for what I did to you. I don't want to see you. I just want you to know I never stopped thinking about you. And I hope you find a way out of this darkness, even if I don't. Caleb. I folded the letter. Burned it in the sink. I wasn't ready to carry his guilt with mine. Today, it's been a year. The kids are doing better. The nightmares are fewer. The silence is softer. Sometimes I still look at the photo of our family on the beach, back when I thought the world was mine. Back when I thought love meant something unbreakable. I don't smile at that photo anymore. But I also don't cry. Because I survived. And they didn't break me. I'm rebuilding. It won't be easy. But it will be real. And this time, no more lies. Thank you for watching. If you've been through something like this or know someone who has, write your story in the comments. Let's talk. You're not alone.